I think my struggle a lot of times is you can go through the logic as you've very eloquently demonstrated, and it's really undeniable when it comes down to it. But what I run into is that people, you reach a point with them, people of different worldviews, they say, okay, yes, I understand your point, yes, I understand your logic, but I don't subscribe, or I choose not to believe that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to question that anyone has ever said that to you. That may have been what you took away from the conversation, but more likely they were trying to let you down gently in how they understood the point you were trying to make, but ultimately found it unconvincing. I find phrases such as, I see what you're getting at, but I don't find enough to believe in, very quickly becomes, I agree with what you're getting at, but I don't want to believe, in the minds of the Christians who hear them. These stories almost always follow the exact same pattern. Anyway, we'll let you continue to ask Mr. Frank Turek your question, as I'm more here for his response.
And so I guess my question is, how do you deal with that? How do you go from them just saying, okay, I acknowledge that you're true and you're right and logical in this, but I choose not to accept that?
Well, everyone has the free will to assent or not to assent to what's out there, and God gives us the free will to do so.
I would disagree entirely. People do not have the free will to choose what to believe. They may resort to poor thinking and fallacious justifications for what they believe, but ultimately they do or they do not believe it. Now, there may be some level of discomfort brought about by said internal conflict, and I can note possible occurrences if I see it. But I would not say a person has chosen to believe or not believe. I'd say they've chosen to remain ignorant on the topic. Now, what Frank is about to elaborate on next has been the cornerstone of much of his work on atheists, and has always bugged the hell out of me.
But here's a question I ask everybody who's not a Christian. If Christianity were true, would you become a Christian? I ask that of atheists. If there's any atheists here tonight, I hope you come up and ask a question, because I'll ask you this question. I'm just giving you a warning up front, just so you can be ready for it. If Christianity were true, would you become a Christian? I've had atheists stand at that microphone, including last night. I asked the question, and sometimes atheists will say, no, I wouldn't become a Christian if it were true. How's that reasonable? How's that rational? It's not. The problem isn't here, the problem's here. They don't want it to be true. They don't want there to be a God because they want to be God of their own lives, and God gets in the way.
No, the problem is with you. See, Frank Turek is relying on a verbal sleight of hand where he asks an atheist, if the Christian God were proven to be true, would you become a Christian? Now, to most people on the outside, we understand a Christian to be more than simply a person who believes in the existence of the Christian God. A Christian is seen as a person who worships and follows said deity's apparent commands. Now, Turek changes this definition of Christianity to his own special definition, where a Christian just means someone who believes in a specific God. The problem is that belief in the existence of and worship are not the same thing. If you disagree, then I ask you the following question. Do you believe Adolf Hitler existed? Now, if you answer yes, then my very next question will be, do you worship them? Now, you can replace Hitler with any current killer of your preference if you want to argue the fact that Hitler is now dead, yet the core point remains the same. Belief is not the same as worship. By Frank Turek's definition of a Christian, Satan is one of the oldest Christians around. If a person responds no to your question, Mr. Turek, they're not saying that they would choose not to believe, but that they would choose not to worship. And that is why the problem of absence is still such a crippling blow to your religion. There is no reason at all for your God to hide like some snivelling coward were they actually to exist, since their existence would not demand devotion. God apparently showed himself through the plagues in Exodus, yet did that put an end to idol worship? No. The career you've built around the pretense otherwise is a lie and nothing more.
See, we're not on a truth quest, many of us. We're on a happiness quest. And we're going to believe whatever we think is going to make us happy. And here's the problem. You can make yourself happy over the short term by doing a lot of stupid, fun things, but over the long term, it's a disaster. And everyone in here who's over 40 knows what I'm talking about, because many of us have tried it ourselves, right? Gee, that didn't work out. So ask the question, if Christianity were true, would you become a Christian? If they hesitate or say no, you realize the problem isn't intellectual. The problem is volitional. It's not a problem of the head, it's a problem of the heart. In fact, for you Christians in here, let me just ask one question mark of the whole audience, if I can, for a second. For those who are Christians, just for the Christians, I want to ask you guys this question. I want you to think of somebody you know who's not a Christian, whom you'd like to be a Christian. Could be a friend, relative, whoever it is, right? Everyone got somebody? Okay, here's my question about the person you're thinking of right now. Is the person you're thinking of right now on a relentless pursuit of truth? They want to know if Christianity is true. Or are they apathetic or maybe even hostile? How many say the person I'm thinking of are on a the person I'm thinking of is on a relentless pursuit of truth? How many? Crickets. How many people say the person I'm thinking of is apathetic or hostile? Yeah, everybody else. It is the same everywhere I go. It's 100 to 0 or 99 to 1. People don't want it to be true. So you've got to ask them that question and see where they go with it.
Actually, this just shows how little Christians, including Turek himself, understands atheists. I myself have spent thousands of hours reviewing the arguments laid down by religious apologists, testing my thoughts against theirs, and so far to this date, not a single theist has managed to demonstrate the existence of their deity. And yet, many would consider me to be militant or hostile, much like the audience you are talking to. Many have said people reject the very idea that they can fail to supply evidence, and many of them go away to boast about how they succeeded, but I was too hard-headed. It's confirmation bias at its finest, as well as a great deal of projection. It's not atheists who argue on the basis of how they wish the world was. You're thinking of the religious.
And then I guess your response to that would be, you know, just pray and pray for their heart.
Yeah, pray, love them, and maybe at some point, after you've planted enough seeds, and sometimes it's because some dramatic event occurs in their life, that your phone will ring and that person will be on the other end. Why? Because when something goes wrong, they're not going to call their atheist friend who's going to say, this stuff happens. There's no rhyme or reason to it. They're going to call you. When the student's ready, the teacher will appear.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
For someone who's accusing atheists of operating on emotional reasons to then stumble on to suggest that Christians ambush non-believers at their most emotionally vulnerable state is truly disgusting for various reasons. Not only is it a continuation of Turek's numerous lies about atheists, what they think and how they interact with one another, but it's downright predatory. Contrary to Turek's imagination, atheists do have support communities. We do have words of support. Yet, more than that, we are less likely to pass off responsibility in going, well, I'll wish on my personal star for you, like Christians and their prayer. If nothing else, you can trust an atheist to be more likely to act in support of you in your time of pain. The fact that Turek and his fans have to fabricate these unfounded caricatures of atheists show just how hollow their faith really is, just how fragile their conviction that the mere existence of people who take genuine issue with the total absence of evidence for God threatens their belief. I don't think this response gives Turek the credibility he believes it does. Hi there, I just want to say a few things here at the end of the video before you go. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who's ever donated to the channel via Patreon, giving a special thanks to the following people: Hannah Banghart, Matthew Kovac, John Schoenrock, Alexander Williams, and Daniel Martinez. Your support has ensured this channel's ability to grow over the years, and for that we are truly thankful. I'd also like to ask that you comment down below and like this video, as well as subscribe and follow Essence of Thought on Facebook and Twitter. Please also consider following Atheist Alliance International on Facebook, an organisation dedicated to helping atheists around the globe. Lastly, I'd like to request that you treat the people responded to in this video with a reasonable degree of respect. Whilst we fully understand that there are justifiable limits to said respect when tackling certain heavy topics, and anger can be a very genuine emotion in tackling injustice, do note any comments utilising language which insults others on the basis of perceived gender, sexuality, ethnicity or ability, both mental and physical, will be removed immediately, and the commenter may be blocked on the moderator's discretion. Let's keep this space one which upholds the humanist values. Thank you for watching.